captain Luke Donald, a two-time winner of the BMW PGA Championship, in the field this week, met with the media earlier today.
You've said before that you are going to sort of change around from Rome. What is it that makes you think that you've got to mix and match a bit more this time?
Well, again, I think players change. It's 2 years since Rome. So excited about the continuity and having a team that is very similar to Rome. I think that's a massive benefit for us. But, you know, players change. You know, just again, I've said this before, look at someone like Bob. You know, he's become a much better player in the last 2 years. You know, I didn't see him as an option for foursomes, but potentially he is this time around because of the way he plays the game now. So again, you have to always consider sort of those things, that not everyone is playing the same way. You know, people shift in you know, whether you're a good driver or a good approach player or a good putter, you know, those things move around in your career, and so you adapt to that.
Can you just give a bit more details of Bethpage? Any more plans for there to do stuff in the 2 days you're there, and also the time between Bethpage and the Ryder Cup? Have you got concrete plans of what the guys are going to be doing?
Well, yeah, we plan to play 9 holes on Monday and 18 holes on Tuesday. We'll go into the city for a fun dinner on Tuesday night because we don't get to go into the city during the week of the Ryder Cup. It's obviously on the doorstep, but you know, it's just far enough away and so busy that week. So it's nice to, you know, experience, you know, where we are, that New York kind of vibe. So. Between the event, yeah, some people are sticking together up in New York. Some people are going to work with their coaches. Some people are going home. It's not all 12 together doing the same thing. I think it's important that too. You know, you don't want to, you know, they're together a lot this week. If you're all together next week and the week after, maybe that's a little overkill. So some of them will be together and playing some courses up in the New York area, but it's really up to them. I told them that's, you know, as long as they're not flying back to Europe and having to deal with jet lag, I don't really mind what they do. So yeah, they all have good plans in place.
Isn't it interesting? Conventional wisdom would say just roll the ball out the way you did in 2023. You got off to that 4-0 start on Friday morning. But he's saying, you know, different players are different now. Maybe their game is in a different place. It's a different golf course. And you can't rest on your laurels. It's a different team they're facing, for example. Yeah, he's starting to sound very much like Keegan Bradley there. I feel as though you'd have to start pulling fingernails to get these captains to actually tip their hand on anything. But I do think Luke Donald is... The point he's making is an interesting one, that the same team does not equal the same tactics. Right. And hence that point he's making about how Bob McIntyre's game has changed. He doesn't want Keegan Bradley to sit there and look at that lineup from 2023 and who played with who and who performed well and automatically assume that's what he's now got to match up against. Yeah. And he's going to try to mix and match the players that he has. And you do have a winning formula. So how much do you want to change it? But you still have to present some kind of a match-up challenge to Keegan Bradley. Everything comes down to whether or not your guys are going to actually play well and make the putts anyway. But you don't want to tip your hand in terms of the pairings that you're going to send out there. That's a lot harder to do for Luke Donald right now than it is for Keegan Bradley, simply because of what they did 2 years ago. The great teams in dynasties and sports, they have a saying, I'm going to beat you the way we play. You know, the Lakers, fast break basketball, I'll beat you at the fast break, but if you want to slow it down and grind and play half-court basketball and play down low, I'll beat you in a half-court game as well. And I think that's what Luke Donald is saying here also. Yeah, we beat you last time 16.5 to 11.5 with this style of play or on this golf course, but we'll beat you on this big boy golf course as well. He wants to imbue his team with the confidence that they can be elastic and not have to be, you know, bound to what happened 2 years ago, that he can mix and match and zig and zag. The great teams feel that they can beat you in any style, any day of the week. And it's interesting that he's determined that his guys won't be overscheduled as well. I mean, in theory, it's an away match for Europe, but, you know, you remember we used to joke about how the Ryder Cup, half of the European team lived at Lake Nona and the other half lived in Isleworth. Yeah. I mean, most of these guys are based a significant portion of the year in the United States. It's as much a home match for them in real terms
as it is for the Europeans. But the idea of they're all going to fly there Sunday night from Wentworth. They'll play 9 holes Monday and Tuesday, and then they're mostly going to hang around the northeast after that. And he did say some of them will go home. Well, home doesn't mean, you know, Sepp Straka is not flying to Austria because he's in Alabama.
Right.
And so a lot of these guys they're going to be acclimated. They're going to spend a little bit of time with each other, but they're not risking jet lag. They're not traveling any great distances. They're doing what they need to do to be ready for what becomes a pretty intense week of obligations long before the balls go in the air on Friday morning.
And also playing just outside one of the most international cities on the planet. You want to get some good Spanish tapas or I go to an Irish pub, you can do that here as well.
Well, they should do it the week before because they ain't doing it the week of.